Imagine your laptop processes millions of Amazon orders, but suddenly it freezes. What if you had a super team of computers working together like Avengers? Today, I will show you how Apache Spark makes this possible. Think of Spark is a movie set. There is a director called driver and the group of workers called executors. Director doesn't do any work. He gives the instructions and the workers process the data parallelly. And the Spark secretly creates a roadmap to make that task faster called DAG. Now imagine we have two ways of working with data. One is RDD, it is manual but more powerful. And another one is data frames. These are easier, smarter, and optimized. In real companies, data frames are the heroes. If I will give you the example, RDDs are like to creating list to store the data into the list in your Python code. And if I will talk about the data frames are the examples of storing the data into Excel or C. Spark is also lazy, but in a smart way. It waits until you actually ask for the results before running everything smoothly. This is called lazy evaluation. Let me show you how we can upload an e-commerce data into the Databricks, how we can read it into the Spark, and how we can filter the products, and how we can group by the sales, and how we can export the insights. This is what exactly how data engineers and analysts work in real companies. So as you can see, so this is the Databricks interface. So you can think of it like the Spark laboratory where we can run and execute the all the codes. So here, first what we can do, we will just go on into the compute and there we need to create the cluster. Cluster is like a hiring workers because we need, as in the previous story, that as we know workers we need to do the data processing. I have already created the cluster, as you can see this cluster. So if you want to create the new cluster, and you had only limit in Databricks in your free edition that you can able to create only one cluster, and the next step you need to do is you can just go to the new option and there you can just create the new notebook where you want to write the code. So we have successfully created the notebook, so you can just change the name of your notebook like day 2 of PySpark fundamental. So you have successfully created the notebook, and the next step you need to do is now it's time to import the R dataset. So you can just click on the data here, data ingestion, and you can see here create a modified table. Just click on here and just click on browse. It will directly take you to the your folder field. So in this folder you can just go into in my data set. In my folder I have all data set. So here I'm just picking one of the data set is, so we have successfully import the data of customer churn data. So now that data we are going to read in Spark. How we can do, we will just use AI. As you can see here, the assistant, you can just click on here. So for that I used this code. So in this code, if you will just execute this code, it will display the data set which we have imported in our Databricks. As you can see here, this is our Databricks which we have imported in our Databricks. So this is the code that we can use to read the data. Now we have successfully imported the data into Databricks, then we read the data into PySpark. And now it's time to do some operations based upon our day 2 task. So first what we can do, we can select the columns. As you can see here, when I was write the command of select the columns, it gives directly the instructions like you can see here. So what I can do, I will just I will not take all the columns, I will just take 5 columns and just display those columns. So as you can see here that I have successfully called the columns, which is 5 columns. Which one is customer ID, second is gender and age and married and status from the churn data set. So this is one of the tasks that we need to complete. how we can select the columns from particular data set. And if I will talk about how we can apply the filters. So filters, so I applied the filter on based upon the age. If the age is greater than 15, those rows that we can get here. So as you can see here that I got these transactions which are above 50 years. The customer who has above 50 years, those records that I got based upon the filter. This is how we can use filter in Databricks. And one more thing, how we can use group by. The group by we can use to summarize the data. So let's just see how we can use the group by. So we can easily use AI assistant. There is no need to write code manually. So it saves our time. And what you can do, just write, you can just write here, group the product. Now we are going to learn about how we can group by, how we can use the group. So group by we can use to summarize the data. So how we can use group by? We can use group by just writing plain English. And now we are going to learn about how we use group by in PySpark. So this code that I'm going to run, I just want to know like our top state, like what are the top 5 states having more customer in our telecom department. So I just run this query, I just group put the date and just count the customers, how many customers, and I used order by also, which are the top 5 states having high customers. And dot show 5 means I will get top 5 states. Click shift enter. So as you can see here, so you successfully the query was executed in our organization. These are the top 5 customers having high customers. So this is how we can use group by and order by. So group by is used to summarize the data and order by is used to find out the top sales, which states are the high customers are there. If example, which state have high purchases, in that case we can use order by. So we have successfully did some basic operations like selecting the columns and filtering the data and grouping the data and ordering the data based upon ascending order and descending order. Now it's time to export the result into PySpark. Now, how can I export the data? So this is the code that we need to write to save the data that we have filtered the data, right? Based upon the filter, we are going to save those data as a table format in the Databricks. So how we can store this? This is the code. If you can just execute this code, successfully stored in the Databricks. And if you want to see this data set, how it looks like, you can just write this code and just execute this code. Just execute this code and you will see what the table that you have stored. So as you can see here, this is the table that you have stored in the name of group df experts. These tables can help you to while you creating dashboards and machine learning models. So today we have successfully learned about day 2 tasks. What we have learned, first we have successfully imported the data, customer churn data into our Databricks. Then we will read the data. Then we do some basic operations like selecting the columns and filtering and group by, doing the group summarizing the data by using group by, and doing order by. And also we have learned about what are the drivers, what are the executors, and we have also learned about lazy evaluation. That's all about this video guide. In the next video we are going dive into the day 3 where we will learn PySpark transformation. Till then, keep learning and keep coding. Thank you so much.